2024 and still you don't know how to monetize your podcast, that's okay. In this podcast, Brendan Boyd is teaching you step by step how to do it. And not only how to do it, but do it at the highest level. Welcome to the Self Investor Podcast, where we always drop a video, a new podcast every Sunday. It's all about being the best version of yourself, investing in yourself, and learning. So, hope that is something that you're looking for, and stay tuned. Enjoy the podcast. Estamos activos. Well, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've seen your role on Instagram and everything, and I see you hustling. So, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Having you here. So, first question: what's the key for a successful podcast now in 2024? What would you say?
I think the key for a successful podcast is to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I think I literally just said this on a car ride over here. I just made some content in the car. Most people, if they just get into podcasts because it's a thing to do, they don't really have a clear plan, it ain't gonna work. You're just gonna quit. So I think number one, you gotta have a clear plan, and then number two, don't make episodes based on the views. Make episodes because you want to.
Okay.
Right? Because if you're making episodes based on who's gonna watch, who's gonna listen, you're gonna quit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if I had a plan, then I know it's not about how many views I got. It's about me making impact. It's about me connecting with really cool people. It's about me having guests on that's gonna share value and someone's gonna benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about me utilizing the podcast and leveraging it as a tool. These are like things that might be part of my plan. So it's not about the views or anything like that. You can get views. That's strategy. You know what I'm saying? So you can figure that part out. So having a clear plan and then not quitting. Like, I'm gonna just see this through. Those are probably the base foundations, but those will make you very, very successful in this space.
Just by doing those two?
Just those two things. Everything else on top of it is a bonus. But if you have a plan for every for your podcast,
mm-hmm.
and you don't quit, you don't make the success based on views and listens, you're gonna be fine. You can everything else you can do.
Nice. So before we dive a little bit deeper on what you just said, can you share a little bit more about who are you and why should people listen to you?
Yeah. So that's a really good question. And I, as of recent, what I've been doing is I've been shying away from telling my story off the rip because I feel like I need to earn that. Mm-hmm. People that are listening to this and watching this that don't know who I am, they don't want to hear about me. They want to know what they can get from me. Mm-hmm. So I like how you kind of pose the question. So why you want to listen to me is because if you're in the podcast space or the content space, I can teach you how to monetize without having a big audience, brand deals, or sponsorships. I made almost $1 million from this space. I moved to Miami from Los Angeles in this space. So anyone that tells you that you can't make money in podcasting, they just have no idea how to do it. That's a dead lie. We got multiple people, making multiple millions of dollars in this space. So even if you made $5K a month, which is $60,000 a year from having an interview, you can quit working 9 to 5. That's the average American salary.
Mm-hmm.
Just $5K a month. So, and I can teach anyone how to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, by being on this show, I can help somebody learn that skill or learn the leveraging skill, right? Podcast leveraging allowed me to be here because you have a platform. So you lent this opportunity to create this space so I can come on here and then share what I have to give. And then we build a relationship. And then what may happen after is because of this opportunity. So whether it's podcast monetization or podcast leveraging, I can teach people how to literally do that and use that for your benefit to grow your brand, your products, your services, or just you as an individual, as a thought, as a thought leader.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I want to get your opinion on this. So who do you think that should do a podcast? Because a lot of people, and even myself before starting out, I was like I don't feel that I have the knowledge or maybe the experience to sit down and just say what I know. So who do you think should do a podcast?
100%. So I think any business owner who wants to grow should have a media department. And within that media department, it should either be a podcast and or YouTube content.
Nice.
Right? So if you have a podcast, like for instance, if you're already a successful, let's say, insurance agent in financial services, or a successful real estate investor or real estate agent, or maybe a successful plumber, and you want to grow your brand, you want to connect with more people, you should do this. Because what is media? Media allows more people to know who you are. So if I wanted to watch CNN, I tap into that channel, right? I can just go to CNN, or I can go to YouTube CNN. I can listen to all or watch all the content they have available. So if you're a professional and you don't have a channel, you don't have a platform, I can't find you by accident.
Exactly.
Right? And you can't stand out because the majority of plumbers don't have podcasts. But if you are a plumber right now and you start a podcast, you're going to be the one that people go to because you're going to be the authority.
The leader.
You're going to be the leader, right? If you're in insurance and no one else in insurance has a pod, guess what? You're the authority. Your brand's going to grow faster.
And other people in your industry that might be better than you might want to go to your podcast and talk, and that's how you connect.
100%, 100%. And you can use a strategy that I call the podcast close to generate more business.
How's
so
that?
Look, so let's say you, for instance, right? You're in real estate, investing wholesale, right? So you're looking for people who's your target audience? Is it people that want to fix and flip, or is it sellers that want to move the house, or is it a little bit of both?
I would say sellers.
Okay, awesome. So on this podcast or a different one, right? Because you can brand it specifically for this. You can have a podcast that's geared towards that client.
Okay.
Where sellers of homes come on your show to find out more information about what you do or their homes or the state of the market, or just to have conversations. So you build for 20, 30, 40 minutes, right? You say, hey, and you ask some key questions. So you have a conversation, but then you ask a couple of key questions so you can kind of see if this person might be a good fit. Now, what happens when the podcast is over? We done spend 30, 40 minutes together. I feel like we're friends. We're probably going to have lunch after. I'm probably like, what you got going on today? What you got going on this week, right? So we're building rapport. And I'm like, yo, remember the house you were telling me about during the episode? Is that something you really want to, you think you really want to put that on the market, or like you really want to sell it? Like you kind of in that situation? I mean, I am. Or you know what? Would you mind if I shared that with, I got a whole network of buyers that are looking for homes just like yours. I mean, is that cool? Yeah, man, just do it. So you leverage that opportunity to build leads, to create clients, right? And then you close them.
Exactly.
Right? Why? Because of the know, like, trust, and the time that you spent together. Now, what's the benefits? You build relationships, you get a client, right? You have real content that you can redistribute, that can go out there, that can attract more of the same type of person. You can actually advertise or market your show. Hey, listen, I'm looking for sellers who want to come on a podcast and share their experience about being a homeowner. Guess who you're going to attract? Homeowners who have experience, who may want to sell their home.
Exactly.
So you're going to have 20, 30, 40% of people that might actually close, but you're going to be building a database of sellers, homeowners, that you can throw in a group. And every time you have a buyer, you can just send to them, hey, listen, is anyone looking to sell their house? I got buyer looking for your type of house. So you're building your email list, you're building your text message list, you're building a group, and everyone in that group, because they've been on your show.
Exactly.
That's how you leverage.
So I guess that's like a way to monetize the podcast, right? Because for someone looking at or hearing this podcast right now, he might be thinking, yeah, but let's say I start a podcast. If I don't get views, I can't monetize. And I'm sure that you know that's not true, right?
Yeah.
So how can you monetize then?
Views and listeners, right? Downloads is not indicative of making money at all, right? If you want to make money with a podcast, you got to productize the show. So you need to create products out of the show.
Okay.
If you don't have any products, you can't make no money. So yeah, you can make money with streams, you can make money with views, but that's long money. You can make money with sponsorships, but that's long money. You can make money with a brand deal, but that long money. What does that mean? That's going to come into the future. Most brand deals are not going to look for a show that's brand new with not a lot of support. I mean, I can show you how you can actually get a brand deal with no views, saying a little bit of support, so we can talk about that too. But what you want to do is, I call it the foundational 4, right? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to create a digital product. So how many episodes you got?
Probably like 16, 17.
All right. So we'll just use this as an example. So out of 17 episodes, does one of them stand out to you?
Yeah, I would say like 2 or 3.
Okay. So out of the 2 or 3 that you might remember off the top of your head, do you remember maybe like 3 or 4 things from that particular podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now imagine you took episode 12 that you remember what the gems were. Like these are like the transformational moments. These are the quotes. This is really where people can get value. You take those 4 things, you put that in a digital product. You charge $27, $37, $47 for that product. And then now you have an asset that somebody can purchase. Why would they want to purchase that? Because everyone's not going to listen to the pod. By the time I might discover your podcast, you might be on episode 48, but you might have the digital product from episode, that 12 or 13 that you basically just summed up. And you give me the 4 or 5 things that I just need to know that's going to give me transformation right now. And I can pay $27 for that.
Exactly.
Right? And then we can turn it up because we can turn that into a rev share. So if I'm the guest on that podcast, now me and you can share in the revenue that's going to come from that digital product. And every time you sell it, right, that $27 we split 50-50. Now I can promote it to my email list, my text message list, my groups. I can add it to other products and services I have. Every time I make a sale, you're going to get 50%. You can add it to your email list, your text message list, your group, your products and services. Every time you sell it, guess what? I get 50%. Now we making money together.
And
all you did was repurpose the content from the episode.
Exactly. That's what I was that's something that I was gonna say, because the crazy thing here is that you're not doing extra work.
You're not doing extra work. The work's already done. And guess what? Most podcasters already have episodes already done. And guess what they're doing? Nothing with the episodes. Right? You can even do something crazy where it's like, let's say, like you're on episode 17, right? So let's say episode 50, you create another digital product talking about the 50 things I learned from 50 entrepreneurs. And you can get it all right now in this brand new exclusive digital product to commemorate our 50th episode. It's available right now. Grab it. Exactly. You can be like, this is only $50 because it's our 50th episode. And now you basically got a bundle, right? Because if you would have made a digital product from that earlier episode and you got this 50, now you got 2. Or you could turn it up where this is actually one of my new secrets. You do a collaboration with every guest.
How so?
So the same strategy I just told you, make that available for every single guest. So, hey, Brendan, guess what? As a guest of my podcast, we're going to make money together. How? So we're going to take the best 4 or 5 things that we shared on this episode. We're going to turn it into a digital product, and it's going to be a rev share. That product will be available in about 7 days. I'm going to send you the link. So if you promote it, you're going to get 50%. I promote it, I'm going to get 50%. And nice. You do that with every single guest. Now you got all these different semi-passive income streams from just doing the episode that you're just going to do. That's just one way, bro.
That's crazy.
Right? That's just one way.
And that gives you leverage to invite more high-level guests, right?
Imagine this, bro. Imagine if one person comes on the show, you run that strategy, right? And it's like, you didn't even think this episode was going to go nuts or go crazy. You just do your regular thing. Next thing you know, you got $500, $1,000. You're like, yo, what happened? Yo, this episode just took off. And people want to get that thing, right? The guest might be in a whole nother state, whole nother country. It might be 6 months into the future. Y'all are still making money off the rev share.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? From the content that you just repurposed that you guys already made, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 would be a paid community. So I feel like with the paid community strategy, it's kind of like, I always use this analogy. Let's say you and I were going on a trip. Where do you want to go?
Let me see. Spain.
Okay, boom. We're going to Spain. I ain't never been there. We're going to Spain, right? So these are your choices. You can go to Spain on an economy flight, right? Sitting with 100 plus other people. Maybe you got the middle row. Flight attendant's late. You got to wait to get on the plane, wait to get off the plane, wait for the restroom. Baby's probably crying. There ain't no elbow room. Or you can do first class, where it might be 1 or 2 seats, some networking, like unlimited food, unlimited drinks. You might meet the captain. Flight attendant's nice to you. There's no line for the bathroom. You get on first, you get off first. Which ticket you want?
First class.
And even if this tickets cost 5x more, would you still pay it?
Probably, because of the experience and the value.
Exactly. That's what a podcast community is about, right? You're going to have listeners, right? And you're going to have viewers. that are just going to want to watch or view the podcast. But you're going to have a small percentage of people that's going to want more what Carlos has to offer. They want to go behind the scenes on deals. They want to pull up whenever you do a live podcast. They want to pull up whenever you have a networking event. They want to know what's the latest and greatest going on with the podcast. They might want to send you questions that ask the guests that you let them know in events. They might be interested in contributing to a deal. Those people is your community. Now, if you monetize those people at $99 a month and you got 10 of those people, now your podcast is making $12,000 a year from 10 people. 10 people.
Exactly.
Not 10,000 downloads. You can have $10,000 and never make $1,000.
Exactly.
Right? So now you got the digital products and you got the paid community. Number 3 is my favorite. Affiliate marketing. What's around this? This table. We got this plant. We got these mics. We got these stands. We got the cameras. Guess what? These are all affiliate products. So the same place you guys went to purchase these things, you can get those links and make them available. Now, if somebody wants the same equipment that you guys are using, you can make money by just mentioning it and having those links. And better yet, there's platforms like JVZoo, ClickBank, Amazon, Impact that has thousands, right, of affiliates. I already have a product out and a service out. You don't got to do no fulfillment. You don't got to convince anyone to buy, right? You got to do no customer service, and they might give you 20%, 30%, 40%, or even 50%. And if you make free commercials and put those inside your podcast episodes are going to do the marketing for you.
Exactly.
Right? So now we got 3 ways.
Exactly.
Right? The 4th way is what I like to call the VIP package. Right? So let's say I have you on my show. And I'm like, hey, Carlos, I would love for you to come on the pod. You're going to say what?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Now, what if I said this? Hey, yo, Carlos, so I want you to come on the pod, and I have a VIP option. Are you interested? What you going to say?
Oh, what's that?
Exactly. Everyone's going to say, what's that? And we didn't set this up. He literally just said what everyone says, right? They're going to say, what's that? So, Carlos, check this out. Podcast is free, right? But the VIP package is going to include the raw footage, the edited footage, let's say 8 clips. That's going to be the verticals. The edited podcast. We're going to put a commercial in your episode that you're going to be promoting your business. You can get that whole content folder, and it's only $350.
Exactly. That makes more sense.
Exactly. So what are you doing? All you did was package up the content that you're making in real time. And who does not want to promote their products and services? And most guests are not going to edit their own stuff or even promote the episode that they was already on. But if you give them the photo of assets, at the very least, they are going to post those clips.
Exactly.
Why would I want to pay $350 for the content?
Exactly.
Right? Because this opportunity that we're doing with the podcast, 30-minute, 40-minute, 50-minute show, how many clips can we get out of this? 10, 20, 30. What if I'm someone that don't even make content? This is very valuable for me. Right?
Exactly.
So you can use this, and if you got a show that has multiple guests, just offer that. Say, hey, listen, we'd love to have you come on the podcast. Hey, before we get started, I just want to let you know we do have a VIP package option. Would you be interested in learning about that? Everyone's going to be like, what's that? And you just say, hey, listen, it's going to have this, and this. I'm pretty sure that's going to be valuable for you, and it's only this amount. So if you have 4 shows a month, and let's say that VIP package is $350. Let's say you got a 50% conversion rate. That's $700. What if you shoot 8 shows in a month with a 50% conversion rate? That's $1,400. It's the same work you was gonna do for free.
Exactly.
Right? Now you can subsidize the podcast, pay for the recording, pay for your engineer, pay for your producer, pay your editor, if you have those expenses. Or if you got a car and insurance, maybe that covers your car and insurance. Maybe that covers your rent. Right? Maybe that subsidizes your mortgage. Maybe you're looking for some additional money to invest. Now you got some money to invest.
Exactly.
Maybe you need an emergency fund. Now you got that. From doing the same thing you was going to do anyway, but you started to productize and create offers out of the podcast. So that's 4 ways of monetizing just that.
And why do you think people are not doing that right now?
Because they don't have the knowledge. I didn't always have the knowledge. I probably shot maybe 100 shows before I figured this out. And the only way I figured this out is because I'm a marketer. So it just made sense. So you had asked me before we started recording about my background in real estate. So I was always podcasting while I was doing real estate, probably the last 2 years. But I was just doing it kind of like how you said, because I wanted to, build relationships, meet new people, connect with higher net worth people, just kind of like, have these type of conversations. And it wasn't until I quit real estate and I invested in myself hundreds of thousands of dollars, where I started to learn about digital products and making offers, that it made sense. It's like, I have a platform. I can take this information. I can package it up. I can use this platform to promote what I got. But this platform is really a product in itself. Mm-hmm. So it just made sense. I was able to kind of look at it a bit differently. And that's kind of like how I started to grow in the space.
Nice. And then that being said, what do you think is like a common misconception of podcasts in general?
I think people think it's easy. It's not easy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to have a conversation. Like, you have some notes, but you're also thinking while you're listening, right? Because you're asking me questions based off what I'm saying, right? And a lot of people can't do that. That's a skill set, right? Listening and comprehension and having a solid conversation and communicating at a higher level, that's a skill set, right? So everyone doesn't have that. Everyone isn't someone that has presence. Everyone isn't someone that's entertaining. Everyone isn't someone that has command. You know what I'm saying? That can have this type of discord, that has the information, who's willing to learn more things. Everyone doesn't have that. And you could be someone that's funny too, but you just have to have that thing. And people thinking it's easy is probably the biggest misconception. That's why if you go on Apple Podcasts, there's a lot of podcasts that haven't had an episode in years. Because people think it's easy. They realize it's work. They don't want to do it. Or they can't monetize it, so now it's an expense, so they don't want to do it.
Exactly. And also, I'm pretty sure you know this stat, but I think like 1% of podcasts made it to episode 20 or something like that, right?
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. You could be a top podcaster with just 25 to 35 episodes.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
But why do you think that happens?
I think it's really just because people quit, bro. Like, they think it's easy. Now, look, we're in a studio, so I don't want people to kind of get the wrong impression. Your setup is fire. Everyone's not gonna have this type of setup, but you don't need this type of setup to have a podcast.
Okay.
If you got like 2 iPhones and some stands and some quality mics, you can shoot content, right? Now, a lot of people wouldn't do that because a lot of people have this like preconceived notion in their mind of, it has to look a certain way, but it doesn't have to look a certain way. You can have one tripod and the camera. The most important thing is rich visuals and rich sound. You can shoot it anywhere. So if you can master those 2 things and you don't want to quit and you genuinely want to either have a solo show where you're delivering value or have a guest-based show and you bring on quality guests, you're going to be fine, right? You just have to remove what you think success is. If success is views and downloads, you're going to quit. If success is getting to talk to as many people as possible and putting out quality content, you're going to be successful. And if you use any of the strategies that I shared earlier, you're gonna make money. Mm-hmm. So you're winning. You're up.
Exactly.
You're up.
So back to when we were talking about starting a podcast and everything, you mentioned that something very important is to come up with a plan, right?
Yeah.
So how do you come up with a plan? I guess it depends. What's your long-term strategy, right?
Yeah.
But what would you say?
So for instance, so your podcast, do you have a plan for it?
I would say my plan is just generating more leads toward the business. Yeah.
Cool. So let's say my plan is like yours, right? Mm-hmm. You want to generate more leads. Okay. So the first thing I'll do is I'll make sure I have a commercial in every episode. Number 1. I would make sure that the guests that I have on are probably guests in a category that makes sense for me driving leads. Mm-hmm. So if you want to have a podcast that's more like, let's say this one where you're bringing all types of people on, do that. But then I would make another show that's dedicated to bringing on your particular, client avatar, because that person would be a potential lead. And then your format or line of questioning can be in line with seeing if that person would be a good fit to do a deal with, right? And kind of like what I said earlier, you're growing a pool of people that may potentially be leads, maybe not now, but in the future. So I would leverage it that way. The next thing I would do is I would create commercials and put them in every episode. So now you have commercials promoting your product or service, or helping people do fix and flips in every single episode. And if that podcast is let's say 45 or 60 plus minutes, I would have 2 in there. And I would get the guests to make a commercial about what you got going on too. So then you have you in there, and you have the guests that edify your product or service that's in there as well. Right? So I would definitely have that. The next thing I'll do is I would probably run some type of ads on the shows so you can grow them, so you can get more exposure. Now, I would just run like awareness ads so more people can just find your show. So your show's going to grow, right? And then you're going to get more viewers, more downloads, and more people can potentially come to the show. The next thing I would do is I would have like what I like to call a 4P plan, right? That's the post-podcast promo plan. What does that mean? What's your distribution strategy? Most people just post a podcast episode and that's it. And they just hope that it's just going to catch viral. But you can basically orchestrate a way that the episode can get as much views as possible, right? Do you post it on LinkedIn? Do you post it on Facebook? Are you part of any groups that are in your category that you can post the episode in? Can you tweet it out? Can you email blast it out? Text message blast it out, right? Do you have any groups of peers that you can drop it in, right? You just make a list of distribution, right? Are you on Rumble, maybe? TikTok, Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Snapchat. Where are the distribution channels at? Can you buy an email list? Can you do any collaborations with an influencer or something that has a large audience? What are the 5 to 10 plus things you're going to do every time an episode drops? So now you're lining it up for success, right? The next thing I would do is I would make sure, if you want to get leads, I would make sure you have a funnel, right?
Okay.
I would make sure you have a funnel and you have a call to action. So in that same commercial that you have in these episodes, I would make sure there's some type of domain. So like, sellyourhousefast.com or text sell house to 5555. I would make sure you have some type of call to action. So then if I'm attracted to that, I can just text in, or I can go to the domain and I can click. I'll get some value. I'll give you my name, number, and email, and then you have your team follow up with them on the back end. If you're doing that, you're going to be able to grow your email list, grow your text message list, and grow your list of interested, buyers or sellers who may want to do deal with you right now. And then you just have a line of questioning that's basically going to help you find out if they're ready now, ready in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Maybe they know someone. And now you're doing a show with intention, right? Now your show could drive leads.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing all of these things with every single episode, right? So that's probably how I would do it, like, using your show, if you wanted to get leads with it. Now, if the show's exposure, then that's different. You might want to spend more money on ad spend. You want to make sure you have guests that may already have some type of, platform. So every time you bring a guest on, it gives your podcast another opportunity to grow, because you're not just bringing on any particular guest. You're bringing on guests that might have, 6-figure audience, 6-figure, 7-figure audiences and up. Then it's like, okay, well, what's the 4P plan with these guys? Well, we're gonna make sure we do a live with them. Make sure all the content is collaborated on, because you wanna max out. We're gonna do maybe Facebook ads, maybe Instagram ads. Maybe you're gonna do a live event. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you say, hey, listen, you got an email list? Yeah, okay, cool. Are you cool if we email the episode through your list? They may have a $25, $35, maybe $100,000 email. I mean, 100,000, email list that you can get in front of. So that's another way, like if you want to do it for exposure. So identifying what the goal is, you could build a strategy. But if you don't have a goal, you ain't gonna have no strategy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You're like literally on a marathon but blind.
Yeah.
You're nowhere, right?
Exactly.
And then that's interesting. What is something that when you open YouTube or Spotify or Apple and you listen to a podcast, you identify that host is doing wrong?
Got you. So the first thing I do is, like, if I look at a show, especially if it's like a celebrity or an athlete, I look at some of the stuff I share with you. And most of them don't have none of that. They just got like, big brand deals or big sponsors. right? So Joe Budden, I wish I could show you my phone. It might be back a little bit, but Joe Budden talked about. Let's see if I can find it. But Joe Budden talked about how. Oh, I know where it is. Joe Budden talked about how it's extremely hard for podcasters to make money because YouTube views can be funny, Spotify can be funny, they might hold your money, and then because there's so many pods out here, they're not giving the deals away like that. But that's only true if you believe the only way to make money is with a brand deal or sponsor. Everything I said earlier, none of that even matters. This is how you can monetize without even having a large audience, right? Let me see if I can find the quote real quick, and then I can let you check it out. But that's the thing, right? So if you're paying attention to that, you're gonna have no problem doing that. No problem at all. But those are the reasons why people are unable to really get to it. Let me see if it's right here. Then you can, okay, boom, check this out.
All that shit is a myth, man. If it's never been clearer than it is today, getting the money from your podcast is difficult for all podcasters. That's a fact. So it don't matter that I have a name, and it don't matter that I'm running the numbers up. We already seeing people complain about these places not getting paid when you run the numbers up. TikTok might not pay you when you run the numbers up. YouTube might get funny. So I paid all this money. Where's my return? Y'all already know I respect.
That's fall, bro. That's it's not true, bro.
Exactly.
It's only true if you're relying on brand deals.
Exactly.
It's only true if you're relying on sponsorships. The strategies that I shared with you earlier, you can make money that way, and you can make decent money. $5K a month is $60,000.
Exactly.
The average American income is plus minus $60,000. So let's say you really want a brand deal, okay? Let's say you really want a sponsorship. Let's talk about how we can get one real quick, right? We ain't rehearsed this. Is there a like a coffee shop that you go to pretty often?
Just Starbucks, I would say.
Okay, is it in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Okay, Starbucks is a franchise. So let's use Starbucks as an example. And Starbucks can be a representation of any coffee shop in your area, right? Or actually, we can even do with this. Is there another place that you might go to all the time? Because some people might be like, yo, Starbucks, I don't know.
Actually, I would say the barbershop.
Okay, boom, barbershop, perfect. So, barbershop, you go there every week, every other week, whatever, right? You got a relationship with the barber?
Yeah.
Do you know the manager or the owner of the shop?
Actually, no.
Okay, but you got a relationship with the barber.
Yeah.
And most barbers work independent, right? Barbers don't do what? Market. They do what? Rely on word of mouth and referrals. They get no leads unless you talk about, hey, Brendan, my guy's lit, check him out, right? So guess what? Now you can go to your barber and say, hey, listen, barber, bro, check this out. I got a podcast. I can market for your barbering skills, right? I can market your haircuts on my episode. And not only will I market your cuts on my episode, I will literally tell people that are in the area or when they stop by the area to come right to you to get a haircut. But listen, I'm gonna charge you $500 for 6 episodes, right? And guess what? I'll even let you be in an episode. I know you don't market. I know the only way you make money, right, is if people walk in. If I tell some people word of mouth, or if I refer somebody. So why don't you let me help you market, because you ain't doing no marketing right now. And I'll give you those clips so then you can repost them. It's only gonna be $500. How many haircuts is that for somebody in Miami? It might only be 5, bro. Right? Miami haircuts is like $80 to $100. It might be 5 cuts. And now they got free promo and at least 4 to 6 episodes on your podcast that are there forever.
Exactly. And that customer might go more than once.
Exactly. And guess what? What if you go to that barber and then you go to your coffee shop? You say, hey, listen, Rebecca, you own a coffee shop. Guess what? You don't do no marketing. I got a podcast, right? I will market your coffee shop on my podcast. Matter of fact, if you give me one of your branded cups, I will drink coffee on the podcast. I will start the podcast episode off with me drinking the coffee out of your cup. Guess what? I'll give for 4 to 6 episodes, $500. Matter of fact, I have you come on and talk about how good your coffee is. What do you say? Now you got $1,000. That's a sponsorship locally, right? You ain't gotta wait for a FanDuel, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. You don't gotta wait from these big, businesses, software, or whatever companies to sponsor your show. You can go rack up local sponsors from places that you invest in anyway on a day-to-day, who have no marketing, who only rely on word of mouth, the community that they're in. Go to a bank. What do banks got? Money. Hit up the community manager. Hey, what's going on? Are you guys got a current budget right now for any community initiatives? Oh, you do? Okay, cool. I got a podcast in the community. I'll literally help you get new business accounts or new checking accounts. Right? Yeah, it's only gonna be $5,000. It's a bank, bro. $5,000 is nothing. Yeah, it's only gonna be $5,000 for 4 episodes. Or you can be like, yeah, it's only $10,000 for 12 episodes. So if you got the bank sponsor, you got the coffee shop sponsor, you got the barbershop sponsor, you got 3 sponsors. That's 12 bands. You ain't gotta go to FanDuel, DraftKings. You know what I'm saying? You ain't have to wait for, some big brand to drop a brand deal in your lap or complain that you're never gonna get a brand deal because you still got a small show. You can go get them in your local market.
Exactly. I think that no one has this information. Like people that are doing podcasts, I really don't think that they're thinking a lot about that. And that's probably why they fail, right?
Yeah.
99% of podcasts fail because like we were talking about, they don't have a plan. They don't know how to monetize. So people like you are really bringing value to these people. So before we wrap up and everything, how can people find more information about you and how can people start scaling their podcast?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So listen, I have I got a 5-day challenge where I'm going to teach you how to grow your audience through podcasting. Another thing a lot of businesses don't have is a marketing plan, period. So we're going to basically put a marketing plan together, 5 days. All they got to do is text the word 5, the number 5 and the word day, 5 day, one word, 5 day, to 213-410-4920. I'll give you a link to come to the challenge, right? So it's 5 days. We're going to go over everything. They can go there or they can hit me up on Instagram. So at It's Brendan Boyd, ITSBRENDAN, and they can just go there, BOYD. They can go there, hit the DM up, ask me any question that they have.
Nice.
But yeah, it's it's not hard. You just gotta have a plan. And you gotta have an intention. If you got a plan and intention, you're gonna be successful. One of my mentors always says, it has to work. It's gonna work. It has to work. Right?
If you put in the required input, you'll get the
It has to
output.
work. All you gotta do is remove your metrics for success, because your metrics for success is not the actual success. It's what you are saying success is, because you're impatient, right? If we planted a seed right now, right, how long would that seed take to come out the ground? If it takes 2 weeks, does it mean it's not successful?
It doesn't mean that. It means that just takes 2 weeks, right?
But it's been growing because it's growing down first. It's growing the roots first. Once it's called phototropic. Once you have the roots planted, now can break the ground and grow and go. Now we can get the fruits, the vegetables, or the oxygen or whatever based on what we planted. You know what I'm saying? Most people only want to see what's above the ground. They're not willing to understand me going to the gym every day, me reading this book every day, me listening to the book every day, me doing these habits is really building me first.
Building that foundation.
Yeah, what I can't see. And that's the most valuable thing. So if you build what you can't see, you're just going to see it. So all the information that I just shared with you, you knew that I did the work, right? But you wasn't with me doing the work. You can't see me doing the work. But because I did the work, it's flowing through me, right? And so that's what really the thing is. People have to do the work. Don't worry about your the date that you chose. Just keep doing the work and then let that work happen. What's gonna happen? People are gonna show up. You got a podcast. So you didn't make the podcast like, damn, I gotta have Brendan on it. No, you made the podcast, you did episode after episode after episode, and it attracted me. So the things are gonna come to you if you just keep doing the work.
Exactly. And I think something that happened to me before doing the podcast, and something that I'm sure that everyone is going through that when they're starting out any project, is that they just don't feel that they can do the podcast because they might feel like, no, but like Brenda knows more than me, right?
Yeah.
Or Sebastian knows more than me, so I can't do the podcast. And what I would say is that you just have to start, just start, and like through the second, third step, then you might go through that breakthrough,
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to start. That's the hardest part at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you agree with that, but
No, I totally agree with that. This is the thing. If you start, you're gonna learn.
Mhm.
So when we were kids and we learned how to walk, we didn't not learn how to walk because we stopped and we knew how to walk before we walked. No, we got up, fell, got up, fell, got up, fell. And that's why I think kids are smarter than adults. Because kids don't have no fear. They don't care about failing. They just gonna keep doing it till they get it. They don't even care about bugging you. They be like, yo, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Carlos, are we going? You said we was going Saturday. You said we was going Saturday. You said we was going Saturday. Right? They're going to keep knocking on doors. They're going to keep asking you until they get what they want. Adults is like, I asked them one time. I don't know. They probably don't want it. I asked her out once. She ain't. I mean, I guess it ain't going to work. I mean, I hit Sebastian up to do the podcast. I guess he don't want to do it. Adults are too smart, right? They think so much. They think themselves out of position. If you don't care, you just do it anyway. You're going to get the result. If I keep knocking, I'm going to get someone's attention, right? Like, I might have hit you up 2 or 3 times before you responded. But if I would have hit you up one time and then just, well, I guess. Bro, Instagram don't even let you see stuff sometimes. They might put it in the other folder. You know what I'm saying? You know what Instagram is doing right now? One, I noticed this the other day. So I used to do the strategy where, like, let's say I wanted to get someone's attention. I would send them a DM, but you might not see the DM. So I would leave a comment that says check DM with a microphone and a fire emoji, right? Because you're like, oh, what's this? Okay, something about maybe an interview or something. I'm going to check it out. But now they strike that. I can't even do that no more. They talking about saying check DM and leaving a fireball and emoji is telling people that they need to follow me or subscribe to my thing. So they removed it. So now Instagram is making it so harder for you to just connect with people. You know what I'm saying? So what does that mean? That means you need to go extra step.
Exactly.
You got to go the extra step.
You don't quit. You just find another way.
You got to find another way. You know, if you can't climb the fence, dig underneath the fence. If you can't dig underneath the fence, you know, get some wire cutters and cut the fence. If you can't cut the fence, blow up the fence. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, figure it out. There's a way, bro. There's definitely a way.
Nice. Wow, that's crazy. And I love that.
I mean, Trump found a way the other day.
That's crazy.
He found a way. He was like, yo, how can I get them to forget about these 35 felonies? You know, how can I get them to be empathetic towards me? How can I win an election before November? Strategy, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Strategy.
That's crazy. And I mean, I love that mentality because that's the mentality that you need to win, I would say, right? So, yeah, man, anything else that you want to mention before we wrap up?
Before we wrap up, I just want to encourage people. I'm going to look right here. I just want to encourage people to believe in yourself, to not quit, put yourself in different environments. That might mean move from the city that you're in. That might mean get some new friends that are interested in the thing that you're interested in. That doesn't mean necessarily get away from your friends, but find 3, 4, 5 people that are on the same frequency that you're in. Because if you stay with the same people in the same environment, you're going to get those same results. If you're someone that's hungry, that wants to grow, that wants to achieve your dreams, then you need to put yourself in a new environment and get people that want the exact same thing that you do. And you shouldn't feel bad that your family, that your friends, that, you know, your relatives or whatever, you know, are going to feel away because you want something different than they want. You know what I'm saying? So that's the last thing I want to say.
Actually, before I let you go, how can you find those people?
That's a good one, man. So I think the first thing you should do is define what your category is. So if I'm in real estate, I can go to Facebook. I can type in real estate in the group section. Real estate groups are going to pop up. You can go to meetup.com. What's the other one? Eventbrite. You go to meetup.com and Eventbrite, put in your category. Again, real estate, guess what? Real estate events are going to show up in your area. Go to these events. Don't go to these events with your friend and don't talk to nobody. Go to these events, especially if you're a podcaster or someone that does interviews. Go to these events Like, yo, I'm going to interview 10 people. Bro, check this out. I literally did this, right? The last mixer I brought my Osmo and I brought the mic. And I just kind of watched real quick. You got 2 people over here, 3 people over here, 6 people over here. Everyone's at the mixer, nobody mixing, right? So I took out the Osmo and the mic. I went up to people and I was like, hey, tell me who you are and what you do. So I was like, yo, tell me who you are, what you do, and what value you want to get from here, right? So I created content and I forced people to break the ice. Some people's like, oh, I don't even know, bro. I don't know. I'm like, yo, why are you at the mixer then? So you're going to tell me that you want to tell me who you are, what you do. You're afraid of the camera. That's probably why you're here in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So if you bring your phone or an Osmo or a camera, you literally go to an event with the intention of meeting 10 people, 20 people, and you go to events on Meetup or Eventbrite in your category, you're going to meet new people. You're going to find a Carlos. You're going to find a Sebastian. You're going to find a Brendan that are in this podcast space. You're going to find other entrepreneurs. You're going to find people that are doing wholesale deals. You're going to find people that are in M&A. You're going to find people that are in government contracting. You go to the place where people are at. If you want women, go to Miami. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or Colombia or something, right? If you want water, go to the beach, right? You got to go where the people are at to meet the people that are interested in that stuff. If you're into calisthenics, I'm going to go to Muscle Beach. Because on Muscle Beach, on Sundays, I know people come together and they doing group calisthenics, right? I'm not going to go to a basketball court wondering where the people that do calisthenics is at. Nah, I'm going to go where the people are doing calisthenics at on the beach. And I'm going to talk to all of them. Right, so I think networking groups online or in person is a great way. Now they got these interesting apps. So they got this app, I forget what it's called, but essentially it's an app where if you're in fitness, it might be like Fit Pals or something, but it's an app where if you're in fitness, you can find other people that are interested in sports or other people that are interested in being active. Network, right? So it's interesting that now the new networking is offline. Like the in-person is the new social media because people be burnt out from social media.
Exactly.
So
it's like taking a break.
Yeah. So the new social media is actually real life. You know what I'm saying? So go to masterminds, go to conferences, you know what I'm saying? Go to conventions, go to summits, go to places where people are in your industry. You're going to meet other people on all levels. You're going to find your 3 people, your 4 people, your 5 people. And if you don't have no money, find the free ones. If you don't want to go outside, find the virtual ones. So that's what I would say.
There's options. Like if you really want it, there's options.
There's options. Or create a podcast and invite them to come to you. Right?
Wow, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. Really,
Yeah.
I really appreciate everything, every knowledge, every bomb you drop here.
Appreciate you, bro.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
So anything else?
Listen, I need you guys to tap into this podcast. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you follow. Make sure you share this episode with 3, 4, 5 friends. Support my guy. Help him grow the show. And if you're not, what are you doing?
Exactly.
What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Awesome, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Contigo.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you, man.
sir. Yo, I gotta get you on my show.
Yeah, let's do
we
it.
gotta get you come
Let's
to
do
Miami, and we'll just do the pod swap.
Let's do it.
That's another thing y'all could do. Find somebody that's a podcaster, swap episodes. You know what I'm saying? So
That's the easiest way.
easiest way.